When Jim Jones wasn't there, things tended to be a little bit lighter. You know, people would be dancing or singing. There'd be music in different cottages. But when Jones was present, it was very, very dark. It was almost like a dark cloud.
In Jonestown, there was a speaker system, and only Jim spoke on it. And it went 24 hours a day, and he would tape himself. So in the middle of the night, all through the night, his voice was talking to you.
The United States is calling for the removal of all blacks and Indians, so is England, and want to have their immigrant black Indian population removed in 6 months.
We had no other radio or TV or communication with parents or any kind of, update that could show us really that there's a whole other thing going on besides what Jim was interpreting for us.
I make my stand clear. Give us our liberty or give us our death. At least on those terms, we choose our death, and no one chooses it for us. Don't try to take any of our children.
There was this pervasive sense of being under attack in Jonestown. He told them that things were just getting worse in the United States. They couldn't go back home. And not only that, but these forces were traveling to Guyana to destroy them there.
We can't know how much of a conspiracy there is in the U.S. Maybe it's economics. Who knows what it is? I'm not even sure. But I do know it's real. It's obvious that Martin Luther King was murdered by conspiracy. Malcolm X.
Over the summer of 1978, all of us noticed that Jim seemed to be getting sicker. His harangues over the loudspeaker were getting more and more frantic and really just sounding more and more insane.
There was no freedom to express to one another what was going on because everything was suspect. The most forbidden thing to express was to leave.
He had a real issue with separation. People could not leave him.
He said, I really want to get away from here, and by Christmas I will be gone.
By Christmas, do you want to be gone?
Yeah, well, if
By Christmas, do you want to be gone? By Christmas, do you want to be gone?
I would ask you, could I go home to make a trip to see my people?
I have the power to send you home by Christmas, but it's not on Transworld Airlines. It's blasphemy. It's blasphemy to talk about going back when you have not been given any approval. Do you want to go home?
No.
Well, then be seated and shut your mouth and don't be in my face anymore.
Congressman Ryan was unique in the political sphere. He had this hands-on approach to legislating. He just didn't take no for an answer. So when he was in the state assembly, he went to Folsom State Prison and spent a week as an inmate to understand the prison issues and prison reform. He became concerned because a number of residents in San Mateo County had become members of the People's Temple, and family members started contacting him, concerned about their whereabouts and concerned about whether or not they were being held against their will. The word we were getting was that there was an armed encampment. It was enough for the congressman to say, you know what, I want to go find out for myself.
A lot of preparation for Congressman Ryan's visit.
I was very fearful about making the trip. I had a copy of the congressman's will and placed it in a particular drawer in my desk, just in case.
When Bryant's came, he came on a Friday night, and we put on a reception for him.
The songs that we sang that night, it was people saying this is who we are and this is what we're about.
Questions have been raised about your operation here, but I can tell you right now that from the few conversations I've had with some of the folks here already this evening, that whatever the comments are, there are some people here who believe that this is the best thing that ever happened to them in their whole life.
That response to him was spontaneous, it was loud, it was emotional. What I was feeling was, this is an opportunity that I can vocalize how much I believe in what we are doing here. The reporter next to me said, I've never felt anything like this before. And I said, because you haven't felt anything like this before. I actually felt pretty good overall. This went probably as well as it possibly could go so far.
When Congressman Ryan came, I wanted to pass him a note. It said, help us get out of Jonestown. When one of the reporters was walking around towards the edge of the pavilion, I stuck the note in the fold of his arm and it fell to the ground. And so I picked up the note and I gave it back to him. I said, you dropped something. And this little boy, about 9 years old, started saying, he passed a note, he passed a note.
Don Harris, who was the NBC reporter, came up to me and Congressman Ryan and handed us these 2 notes from people that wanted to leave. So at that point, we knew that something was very, very wrong.
Why cannot leave?
Are you happy here?
Oh, I should say I am. I've never been any happier in my life.
You want to stay?
Definitely. I certainly do.
Some people have said they couldn't leave if they wanted to. Do you think you could?
Yeah, if I really wanted to, I'm free to go. If I was really wanted to, I'd be able to free to go. Well, I believe it. I've been here a few days, and I have absolutely no complaints at all. It is really nice here. It is.
It was about 11:30 in the morning. Edith Parks walked up to Jackie Spear and said, I'm being held prisoner here. I want to go home.
Now, do I both understand you to say that you both want to leave Jonestown on this date, November 18th, 1978?
Yeah. Immediately, the whole vibe changed. I mean, just reporters said, we got our story. You know, the story here is happening right now.
Jim Jones came to talk to me. And the first thing he said was, don't say anything to the reporters. They're all liars. The last words I heard from Jim Jones was, I just want you to know that you can come back to Jonestown and visit your son anytime you want.
Last night, someone came and passed me this note.
He's the one that I'm just talking about. Yeah, this is the man that wants to leave his son here.
Doesn't it concern you, though, that this man, for whatever reason, one of the people in your group...
People play games, friend. They lie. What can I do about lies? Are you people going to leave us? I just beg you, please leave us. Bill, we will bother nobody. Anybody wants to get out of here can get out of here. We have no problem about getting out of here. They come and go all the time. I don't know what kind of game. People like publicity. Some people do. I don't. know, some people like publicity. But if it's so damn bad, why is he leaving his son here? Can you give me a good reason for that?
When word got out that people were leaving, all hell broke out.
You bring those kids back here! Hold on a second. You bring them back! One second. Don't you touch my kids!
More people wanted to leave. And then Jim Jones started to make pleas to people saying, you can't leave. You're my people. Why do you want to leave? It was an emotional roller coaster for everyone there.
Don't you touch my kids! Mother! Wait, I'm taking my kids! No!
Jones was in the pavilion. At one point, he said, well, of course you can go if you want. But clearly that was not the message. The message was, you are betraying me.
I went and I spoke to the congressman in the pavilion. I told him, you are in extreme danger. You need to leave.
Those of us in the news media viewed Congressman Ryan as a form of protection, a shield of the United States. Nobody was safe.
I went back to my cottage. All I wanted to do was see my wife and my son. Gloria and I were laid down on the cot, and we just held each other. And I said, you know, I think we may all die. And she said, she kind of looked at me, and then she looked down at our son, who was playing on the floor with the toy, and she said, you're scaring him. I had literally opened my mouth to say, we need to leave, when there was an announcement on the loudspeaker, will everybody report to the pavilion for a meeting?